All right, look at there's some things in that hole there. If you just want to take a look, take that, fucker. Hi, huge movie fanatic Nate coming back at you to review, which is pretty much one of my favorite genres of all time, if not my favorite genre. Horror movies from the early 80s. I'm here to review The Pit. This movie I have, just like The Initiation and Mountaintop Mountaintop Motel Massacre, I have an Anchor Bay double feature, and it's The Pit and you know what? I don't even know what the hell's on the other side of the pit. Yeah, I don't think it's any good. It might be Hellgate. I don't think it's any good. So I'm here to review The Pit. I said a couple weeks ago, I'm like, I just thought this movie just popped into my head. I'm like, The Pit. I'm like, let's watch The Pit and rewatch The Pit, because I hadn't seen it for a while. And then I'm like, oh, then I can review it. And so man, this movie is freaking great. I think it looks like the clothes. It looks like the mid to late '70s, but I think it says '81. So, but it looks like in the '70s, but I think it's '81. I just said that. So don't mind me if I'm losing it a little bit. I'm kind of nutty anyway. So the Pit Man is amazing. First of all, this kid they got is absolutely pitch perfect for this kid. This kid to play this kid, I forgot this kid's name, is absolutely perfect to play this kid. This movie is about this kid who's like, I don't know, I guess he's kind of nutty. I don't think he's killed anyone until he pushes someone into this pit. Now, I, like many numeral people, can relate to this kid. Now, I'm a social misfit. I've always been a social misfit because I'm just unique and different, and I'm smart, and I've got a brain and stuff like that. So obviously, you're not really going to fit in with the masses of mindless morons. So I can kind of relate to this kid, not in the sense that I'd ever push him into a pit, but when you're a kid and you're in school and you're being bullied, and I wasn't bullied, luckily, uh, as much as I could have been. I mean, I just got, which makes no sense, my fair share of bullying, and maybe not even as much as my fair share, luckily. And so it's not like I was bullied any more than your average person who was bullied. Um, like I say, maybe even less. I was, in school, I was really just under the radar, and I was just like, you know what, this society, because a school is basically a mini version of society, which is just as fucked up as society. So when I said this society, I guess I kind of meant this school shit is bullshit. So I'm just gonna just lay low. This is bullshit. I have no place in this anyway. If I gotta come to this goddamn place, I'm just gonna. God damn, I'm so glad I don't. I mean, it's so cool. I still can't. I never have to go to school again, and it's just one of the best things in the entire world when I think about that. It's amazing. It's great to think that I never have to go to school again. That's great. So I'm getting off on a tangent. What I was getting at is I can relate to this guy because this kid, is like a social misfit, and he's just goofy. And I can't remember why. I just saw it like a couple weeks ago. I can't remember. I think his parents. I can't remember if his. I don't know what the hell, but it seems like his parents go away. Why does his parents go away? I don't understand. I can't remember. I was gonna watch it again even like last night, but I didn't. God, I was so busy with just daytime. I mean, not daytime, outdoor stuff because it was actually kind of nice. So if I wasn't, on the bike, I was on the kayak, and if I wasn't on the kayak, I was on the bike, and so before you know it, it's already 1 in the morning, and it's like, oh, I guess I can't watch it because I'm tired now. But I can't remember why his parents left, but anyway, his parents ended up leaving for either a while or forever, but he was left under the care of this nanny. Oh, it seems like, but why is his parents always gone? It seems like his parents have gone through all kinds of nannies because this kid drives these nannies crazy, and we see this pretty cute nanny throughout the movie, who of course he ends up getting a crush on, which, first of all, the way this character boy is written. Now, I don't think I was like this myself, but I knew kids like this a little bit in school or something like that. This kid seems very familiar, so I must have either known kids like this or seen them in school. First of all, the writer gets this kind of character. It's a very interesting psychological study, really, because the writer and the filmmakers really get this character down to the point where you think you're watching a documentary and not a fictional movie. It's the behavioral things and the way he gets all obsessive about this nanny who's taking care of him. And, there's this really great shot where we cut from a scene to another scene, like in the morning. And the way we cut to, I love this guy, whoever made this movie, because there's so many great moments like this, which are so which are so just unique. So we cut from like maybe the night before to the morning, and the first shot of the morning is a close-up of this, like exposed tit sticking out of, like, just happens to be sticking out of this nanny's nightgown. Maybe he moved it away, whatever. But we start the scene with a close-up of the nipple that's exposed out of this nightgown, and it's just like, what a cool way, like just Stanley Kubrick way to start a scene, just cool way to start a scene. And then the next shot we end up seeing that it's like, either it zooms out and we see it's her, or maybe we don't, I don't know, but we see the kids basically just by the bed looking at her, watching her sleep, and obviously maybe he had a part in exposing the nipple, we don't know. But it's just such a, oh man. So what I'm getting at is this movie really amazingly captures, I think, realistic version of how adolescent. Now I think this kid is actually older in real life at the time that he's supposed to be playing in the movie, as always usually happens. I think he's supposed to be 12 and he's probably more like 16 or 17 or something, or 15. Which isn't, I guess, a big deal, but this kid is amazing, and it's just so funny. And the movie starts off with a scene, ironically, that ends up happening later in the movie. But they must have thought in editing that, we got to start the movie with something to catch your attention. So it's weird because, like I say, they start the movie with the scene that happens later, and you actually see pretty much the whole thing later again, and it's just like, what the hell? Oh gosh, not even telling you about the whole thing about this pit. So anyway, this kid, obviously dicking around by himself like a lot of these estranged, social misfit people do, outdoors or whatever. He ends up finding, I don't know if we see him come across it in the movie or not, I can't remember, but he ends up finding this pit, which looks really great, by the way. I don't know if they made it for the movie or what, but where it's like, there's things that he calls trollologs are in there, right? Just these, I don't know what, chud-like chud-like creatures. I can't remember how many there are in there, but I think they have like glowing eyes, right? And he ends up calling them trollologs or whatever. I gotta rewatch this again. This is so funny and stupid. Oh, I love it. And so he ends up like, I can't remember what the first he ends up buying meat like at the butcher to throw in there, and they're like, they eat it all up and stuff, and he ends up buying more meat, and then he ends up thinking like, oh, I don't have any more money, I can't buy any more meat, but there's this bully girl who's a bitch that I can bring in there. So he starts bringing people that are assholes to push in, because he can't afford meat anymore, to push in so that trollologs can eat these people. And one of the things I want to stress, having been bullied myself by some bitches like in middle school, one of the things I want to stress is the authorities, or the school authorities, or even the authorities, quote unquote, will always side with these people who are actually the bullies. Now this is another example of how this movie really gets this right. um, who this girl keeps, like, I think she plays at least one, maybe even two jokes, probably two maybe, I don't know, at least one on this boy. She's like, oh, come here, ride my bike, I'll let you ride my bike, right? So he's like, oh, okay. And this poor kid is just like, oh, I'm finally getting accepted. And then he goes onto the bike and he just tries to do, like, this is the reason he tried to do a wheelie is because he had to do that to make the front tire fall off. And she's like, the kid, this bitch character who's like a bully bitch, sets this whole thing up so she can laugh at him. It's like, ha 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 ha. And it's just like, this is reality, or at least what I experienced in middle school a little bit.
You should just go home.
I didn't even do anything.
You should have been here, Aunt Margaret. It was the funniest thing I ever saw.
Come in, right now.
Which is, you have these sadistic, sick bitches, and I mean, then there's probably guy versions too, that are fucking assholes. So they, I don't know, for whatever reason, they hate themselves, they don't like their family, their home life sucks, whatever.
Why don't you go back where you came from, funny person? If I see you near my bike again, I'll tell your father, and it'll be too bad for you. They'll take you away.
They have to be assholes to the people who are already, like, estranged. That's a dumb word for it, but they don't fit in. So these people who don't fit in are targets of these assholes, and these people's lives already kind of suck because they don't fit in, and it's lonely and stuff like that. So these people, and what's ironic is the authorities or society would label the person who the bitch played the prank on as being the problem child, when in fact the bitch who played the prank is the problem person, is the person who's really sick. So anyway, what I'm getting back at is that I wish I would have saw this when I was a kid, like maybe 12 or 13, 14, because it would have been such a great, because there's so many bullies and shit in school who you'd want to take them to this pit and push them in. Basically, this is a movie, a fantasy movie of someone who's been bullied. Not that, like I say, not that I've been bullied as much as, you know, I could have been.
Are you Freddie Phelps?
Yeah? Who are you?
I'm Jamie. I was wondering if I could join your club and...
But I mean, so many people have been bullied, you know, that it's everyone's experienced it in some form or another. But it's one of these movies where it's just like, you know, not that I would, but it's just like, you know, I wish I could find a pit with 12 logs in the bottom, because there's, you know, not anymore, but, you know, back in school there was probably a whole bunch of people that I would have tried to bring to this pit. So basically, gosh, this review's long, it's because it's just such a intriguing horror movie. So basically, this kid ends up, you know, there's people like this girl who played the prank on him, was just a bitch. He ends up bringing there, to push in the pit. There's a boyfriend of this guy, of this nanny who he's got a thing for, who he brings to the pit. It seems like, oh, there's this old woman who's kind of a bitch who he brings to the pit. So he'll bring people who he doesn't like, or people who have bullied him, to the pit.
All right, damn you. You want to see my body?
Aunt Margaret, what are you doing?
I was...
I bet Abigail was surprised. Look at the look on her face. I'm gonna look at these a lot.
And it's just such a goofy frickin' movie. I think I've gone on too long, so maybe I should stop. I don't know why. I don't know. There's other things to review. So, but I wrote down 2 stars just after having seen it, but talking about it and thinking about it. I mean, if it's 2-star movie, why? You know, I think we'll just go 3 stars on The Pit, because just thinking about it as I'm talking about it, it's just like, even if, I don't know, we'll just go, it's somewhere between 2.5 and 3 stars. We'll just say 3 stars, because even if it's not that great, just so much of the ideas behind it are spot on with the socially awkward, you know, kid, and like I say, I think so many aspects of this movie are so behaviorally accurate to how people, you know, kids are or can be. I mean, puberty just sucks, you know, in general. Even if well, no, I guess it's mostly just because of all the hormones and shit and just all that, and kids just going off on each other. But it's just such a great statement of whatever, a great portrayal of just a socially awkward kid, and just seeing him. Oh my God, I almost forgot Teddy. Oh my God, I almost forgot to mention Teddy, which is unbelievably, I can't stop reviewing this if my life depended on it. Teddy, how could I forget? I would have been so pissed off if I forgot to mention Teddy. So he's got, I never actually talked to any of my stuffed animals or anything, I don't think. I mean, they never talked back to me if I talked to them. So he's got like this multiple personality thing where he's, oh, it's so funny. Oh, it's so awesome. Where he's got this teddy bear, and it's basically his friend or his kind of whatever, and it was so great because he'll talk to it, right, in the scene, and then they'll dub over the kid, you know, actually who's playing the kid, his voice, talking back to him with the echo voice as Teddy.
Teddy, what do I do now? Well, she'll get undressed and go into the bathroom. Just give her a minute.
Oh, it's priceless. And so many things, it's like, Teddy comes up with so many ideas, like probably the ideas of putting, oh, this movie is priceless, of putting the people in the pit. It's like, he'll talk to the Teddy, he'll be like, Teddy, I don't have any more money for any more meat, and he's like, well, there's people around the neighborhood who could go into the pit.
Well, Teddy, I tried everything I could think of. Then there's only one thing left, isn't there? Yes, but not nice people. Oh no, nasty people. And we know some awfully nasty people, don't we?
I'm sure we can think of some people who we'd like to get rid of. And it's just fantastic. Just fantastic. 3 stars for The Pit. And oh my God, there's this shot that I'll probably put on here if I can get away with it, which I should be able to because this movie's so obscure, where the nanny woman, the nanny girl, is like, I don't know, there's this shot where the nanny girl leaves his room, and then it's so freaking great. And every time I watch it, I hope for the same thing because I always forget what happens. And the camera pans back over to his bed where Teddy always sits, like on his pillow. And I'm like, please have his head turned, please have his head turned. And the teddy bear's head goes like that. Oh my, when I saw it just recently, I'm like, when his head turns, I'm like, yes! That is so awesome. Now the thing that's so great about this movie, in relation to the turning head of the teddy, is I don't think obviously the teddy's alive, right? But for some reason the filmmakers just, I mean, you know, the kid's voice is talking. It's not the teddy, it's just a piece of whatever. But I think for some reason the filmmakers just thought at this one point in the movie, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's just have, instead of panning over to the bed and having the teddy just sitting there, let's go for broke. Let's have the teddy bear's head turn. And they probably did, I bet you anything, they did like a version without the head turning and a version with, to decide later on what to use. But oh man, The Pit, highly recommend checking it out. And you know, it's a movie, you know, about, you know, it's got a lot of things to say about bullying and also this kid not being able to fit in and stuff. So if you're one of these kids, as I was, and I'm just an adult version now, still not being able to fit in, so you know, if you're a person who can't fit in or whatever, this is a movie that you might understand and be able to relate to, because even if you're not crazy enough to, you know, to bring people to a pit full of troll logs and push them in, but wow, I don't know how long I've been going on with this review, but I think I'm going to end it now, and I'll end the review with a very quick. I'm not going to spoil it, but a quick comment on how the very last shot, the very last moment of this movie is absolutely fantastic. Perfect way to end it, basically. And it's just like, oh man, there's so many points in this movie where it's like, oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. I mean, like in a stupid, dumb way, or in some cases a cool, awesome way. But the last shot of this movie, the last incident, the last thing of this movie that happens is frickin' perfect way to end this movie. That's all I'll say. Thank you very much for watching this whole review if you did, and catch you next time.